All right, well, hello everyone. My name is Jen Slaw, and I am a professional juggler. Yeah! It feels good to say that. I actually know of 2 other juggling acts who have been on stage at TED, and they just happen to be 2 of my juggling heroes. So you can imagine how excited I am to be here today and for this opportunity to share a bit of my story with all of you. I am here to talk about what is possible through juggling. And I don't just mean that metaphorically. I mean actual juggling. I had a little bit of a hard time deciding where to start and what to share with all of you today, because there's been so much interesting research recently about the benefits of learning to juggle. Studies demonstrating that the process of learning to juggle increases gray and white matter in the brain, improves brain fitness and memory health, and can even have therapeutic benefits in treating individuals dealing with things like ADD and ADHD, anxiety, MS, and even stuttering issues. But in the interest of time, I thought I'd jump right in with a personal story that helps illustrate why I do what I do. I recently taught Samantha, a young homeless girl, to juggle. All right, those are the faces I expected. You're probably thinking, okay, hold on. What good could juggling do for a homeless girl? Doesn't she need more important things like shelter, food, clothing? Of course she does, and fortunately she's getting them thanks to a wonderful organization in Trenton called Homefront. Juggling Life, yep. Give it up for Homefront. Juggling Life Incorporated, the nonprofit charity that I direct, was invited to Homefront a few months back to put on a program for about 30 homeless youth. Juggling Life's mission is to engage, inspire, and emotionally heal ill and underprivileged children through unique juggling and circus arts workshops and interactive performance art shows. I've shared many powerful, transformative moments with Juggling Life, but this exchange with Samantha stood out and helps to illustrate part of what I'd like to say today. So the evening took place in a large gymnasium with that super harsh, bright gym lighting, and the group of about 30 homeless youth entered very cautiously and were greeted by about 30 very enthusiastic Juggling Life volunteers. Can you say a little bit overwhelming? I know that I felt overwhelmed. How do I relate to these kids and show them that I am genuine, despite really knowing anything firsthand about their condition? But I realized the answer was pretty simple, just by opening up to them and sharing with them something that I genuinely love to do. So a couple of the older girls walked over to me and stood a few feet back from the massive pile of juggling beanbags that were on the floor, arms folded across their chests. Samantha was one of the girls. I greeted them, "Hey girls, would you like to learn how to juggle?" Samantha shrugged and said, "I can't juggle." But she did pick up 3 balls from the pile. I said, "Well, hold on, that's just crazy. You don't need to start with 3. Let's start with 1, take it 1 step at a time and see what happens." And so the lesson began with quite a bit of resistance from Samantha. Lots of dropping, followed by, "I can't do this, I can't juggle." But as we worked, and as we talked, and as I broke down the challenge into smaller achievable steps, Samantha began to open up and to see success. I simply explained that dropping was just part of learning, and you just pick it up and try it again, and again, and again, and eventually it starts to work. A powerful life lesson, don't you think? Persistence. Juggling life. So after Samantha mastered 1 ball, we worked on 2 together. And at this point in my talk, I'm going to call someone up here to help me. Come on up here, Diane. Let's give a round of applause for Diane. A quick little story. As I've been practicing this talk, come up over there. As I've been practicing this talk this past week, when I got to this part in my speech, I said, I'm going to call someone up here now. Come on up here, Diane. And the name Diane just came from nowhere. I don't even know anyone named Diane. But for some reason, that name came to me. And then today, at 1 o'clock, in my juggling workshop over at the library, in walks this lady named Diane. And she said, "I've tried to juggle in the past, and it just doesn't work. I get to this point with 2 balls, and it just doesn't work." And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. All right, so Diane, come on over here. Okay. We're going to use Diane's right hand. So here's what I did with Samantha. Once she mastered one, we worked on two together. You're going to take this. And we shared the burden. So let's give it a try, Diane. You give it a start. Beautiful. Go ahead again. And one more time. Give it up for Diane. Once we mastered two, we worked on three together. Are you ready, Diane?
I think so.
We get 3 tries on the hard ones. Here we go.
Okay.
Ready?
First?
I'm going to start.
Okay.
First try. Thank you, Diane. Take a bow. Very nice. One more round of applause for Diane as she heads back to her seat. Well, within 30 minutes, Samantha, too, had juggled 3 balls. 1, 2, 3. The smile that lit up her serious beyond her years face was pure joy. And of course, she quickly and excitedly turned to her friend and said, "Look what I can do, look what I can do." It was amazing. The transformation in her whole body language and attitude in such a short period of time was incredible to me. So often, many of us are faced with all of the things we can't do, whether external or internal, real or imaginary. And I've witnessed firsthand how the small accomplishment of learning to juggle can translate into the powerful ability to see that something we once thought impossible is achievable. One of my 3rd grade students put it this way: "Juggling makes me feel like I can do anything." Pretty powerful words from a 3rd grader. An inspiration for me. Many of us here today are pushing the limits of what's possible. Juggling is my passion and my tool. It works to open the door to new possibilities because it is simple, often counterintuitive, and requires perseverance, patience, and creative problem solving. It's really the perfect physical metaphor for learning. It's one thing to tell someone, "Dream big, anything is possible." But it's another entirely to actually physically experience and truly internalize that realization. Excuse me. I use juggling to illustrate 2 key elements of learning. 1, breaking down a task into smaller, achievable steps. This is what enabled Samantha to begin to see success, and this is what Diane so beautifully demonstrated for you. It's a very simple concept, but we all know how crucial this is for goal setting and achievement. And 2, discovering the true cause of certain outcomes, and then finding the necessary adjustments to alter the results. The juggler learns to see what is really going on with a particular pattern. Let me give you a quick example. When we learn to juggle and we start to work with 2 juggling balls, many students tend to throw one ball very far forward, making it difficult or even impossible to catch, just like this. I hear many complaints from my right-handed students like, "Oh, my left hand is throwing so far forward. Why is my left hand so uncoordinated? How do I get my left hand to not throw so far forward?" But usually, it just takes taking a moment to stop and look at the whole picture to also see what the right hand is doing. And more often than not, the right hand is also making an inaccurate throw, very often throwing up the center of the pattern instead of over to the other side, causing the left hand to make an even more inaccurate throw to get around the ball. Fixing the right hand throw gives the pattern more space and usually fixes the left hand throw. So, to see what is really happening, the juggler learns to focus both on the individual elements, throws, body placement, and so on, as well as on the overall picture, and to be open to the possibility that the solution to the problem may not be the initial most obvious choice. This, of course, builds divergent thinking and creativity. The coolest part about juggling is that the learning never stops. A colleague of mine who runs a program called Juggling and Juddering, which uses juggling as a metaphor for stuttering at all levels of the therapeutic process, wrote that juggling is a perpetual journey. There will always be new tricks and new directions to explore, just as in life. I think the best way to illustrate that the possibilities are endless is with a little bit of 3-ball juggling. So here's what happens. That's nice. I get applause already. Here's what happens when you get addicted to exploring variations of the basic three-ball juggling pattern. As Todd said a few years back, I was awarded the International Jugglers Association Three-Ball Award for creativity and innovation in three-ball juggling. This credit was slightly confused at a recent performance, at which I was introduced as three-time International Jugglers Association World Champion. It was close, I took it. Dream big, anything is possible, right? All right, here we go, music please. We'll wind them up. I lost my mic. I don't know if we want to fix that. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Gives me a chance to catch my breath. You can clap some more. Thank you. Oh, I'll take a sip of that. Thank you. Juggling is a workout. How many of you that came to my workshop worked up a sweat this morning? Come on, I want to hear a round of applause. Who worked up a sweat? Okay, so what is possible through juggling? Is it possible for a high school valedictorian to go on to earn dual degrees in art and engineering from Swarthmore College? To go on to build a successful career as a structural engineer? To then leave it all to become a professional juggler? Yes, it is possible. You're looking at her. Whew. Crazy, right? Well, I forgot what I was going to say.
We can do it too.
Yeah. So, I learned to juggle in the 6th grade. I'm going to take you back very quickly to the beginning. I learned from my teacher, who's a very smart man, as a lesson in focus, concentration, and divergent thinking. At what is often an awkward time for young girls, I really flourished. I loved middle school, and I know that the fact that I was armed with what I knew was a really cool skill that the majority of my classmates couldn't do definitely contributed to my confidence. At the same time, I was also getting serious with my ballet studies, which I had started at the age of 6. And I often lamented the fact that there were so many girls and so few boys in ballet, and that the male dancers seemed to get all of the really fun parts, with the big leaps and turns. I wanted to do that. So I found my calling instead at the Drexel Hill Middle School Juggling Club, in which one year I was the only girl, and I got lots of cool parts. And all of this might sound silly, but it now resonates for me on a deeper level. The importance of encouraging girls and women of all ages to pursue historically male-dominated fields. While it wasn't ever something I really consciously thought about, I tended to gravitate towards those traditionally male-dominated fields. Math, science, engineering, juggling. I always wanted to stand out and be different. I guess it's the attention-craving performer in me. And I now use juggling as a tool to imbue young girls with the confidence they need to go forth and pursue their dreams in whatever field they desire. All of this reflection took me back to a poem I wrote freshman year in high school. So bear with me. I dug it out and I'm going to share it with you now. High school poetry. She sat in the park by her favorite tree and looked to her future, to what she could be. She could be a scientist, lawyer, or nurse, but she wouldn't be happy, she'd just fill her purse. But she looked beyond this, beyond all the blur, to a life that'd be fun, and knew the circus was for her. She could already dance and walk the high wire. She rode unicycles and loved juggling fire. But then she remembered what everyone said. She should be something more prestigious instead. They said she'd be wasting her brains as a clown. They looked down on her dreams with a sigh and a frown. But they didn't know her, they had not a clue. Only her mother said, "To thine own self be true." And through all the cloudiness, those words stuck out, and she reached for her dreams, her mind free of doubt. Although people still say what she could have done, she laughs at their blindness and knows that she won. For while the doctors and lawyers say they're rich as the Nile, she's been the clown who's earned everyone's smile. I now know that I am doing what I was meant to do, and that hopefully I'm making a difference in the lives of others, not just by entertaining them, but by inspiring them to pursue their own creative dreams. Everyone here at TEDx is so interesting and so creative, and is already redefining what's possible in your own lives and fields. I wish we had more time together, and more juggling balls, and I would teach you all to juggle. I'm glad I got to a few of you in the workshop. But I challenge all of you to go forth and learn to juggle. Your lives will never be quite the same. I'd like to close with an original performance piece that I feel helps illustrate the creative process and how to think outside and all around the proverbial box to be open to new possibilities. I love how this technique brings these two incongruous forms together in harmony for a unique magical effect with a little Latin flavor. Let's have some music.